Hi everyone, I'm Danielle Patterson. I'm here with Jaelynn Penn today. So we're going to talk a little bit about Black Lives Matter and all of the different activities and stuff that have taken place over the past couple of days. JP actually had the opportunity to go out and protest over the last couple of days. So I think that's been really cool. And I mean, Jay, we've gone from literally having to stay 6 feet apart from each other to now everyone's outside protesting, trying to get some change. So you've been out there firsthand. What has that experience been like for you?
Wow, first of all, it's just beautiful. Just people, all types of people, different races, whatever, different color, black, blue, white, purple, just all coming together.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be for change, move forward to change.
Yeah.
It's inspiring. It's just beautiful atmosphere, just everybody in unity,
Mm-hmm.
and it really shows how when we come together, how much we can do, how much we can push forward to change, how quickly we can do that.
Right. And I think that, I mean, why do you feel it's so important to speak out now? Because we've seen things like this happen time and time again with so many different people of color, men and women. And I feel like probably ever since Trayvon Martin, I think they said this has been one of the biggest protests since that point. And I think at that point, it was maybe 2014. We might have been freshmen in high school. So why do you think people are finally coming out now and doing what they're doing at such a high rate?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with it, with this, the tragic death of George Floyd, is that it was documented. Like we actually saw, the whole world got to see, just the injustice and the police brutality against people of color, Black men. So I think that was a big thing that kind of struck this movement. Like everybody's seeing it. It's on video. Everybody can just see what's happening. So I think that's a big thing that kind of struck everybody to, kind of have this, I don't want to say rage, but like just this passion,
Mhm.
um, to just go out, want to be a change. Like you said, we've been dealing with this for so long,
Mhm.
um, since slavery,
Yeah.
and I feel like now's the time. The
Yeah.
time is now. Like I say, now's the time to just
Yeah.
really push for change. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think for sure is that it was documented and we can all see
Right.
and how terrible it was.
That's true. And I mean, I think this is a time now where you, as and us as people, we don't have a choice, or we don't have reasons to why we can't get involved, because there's so much happening where you can either protest, you can post stuff on social media pages, you can find ways on, I mean, I've seen countless ways on Instagram that people can get involved, and just different tips and places to donate. I know for myself, it's been trying to find as many petitions as possible to try and sign, just to make sure that I'm just really vocal on social media. And a big thing is also having those hard conversations. So like my next question for you is, what are the top three pieces of information that you feel that you've either gained over the last couple of days, just being out there and seeing stuff on social media?
I think number one is just realizing like how much information, how many avenues, different ways you can go to help. There's petitions, there's donation centers you can go and donate to. Obviously, you can repost. There's just so many different ways. I think that's number one, like that you can help,
Yeah.
um, in any way that you can. Even like you said, simply just having conversations about it,
Right.
educating yourself. There's many different platforms for that.
Mm-hmm.
Documentaries, journalists, writers, anything. You can just provide information to yourself and to others.
Mm-hmm.
I think secondly, it's just with that, I've learned how important one voice is, right? And how when we all come together, how powerful that is. But just really speaking out what you believe in, using your voice. Um, and it doesn't necessarily have to be so public, like you can just speak with your family, have uncomfortable conversations with your family, your friends, teammates, anything. Just how important it is just speaking about it and continuing the conversation about it. um, and lastly with that, just I think I've learned mostly it's just the strength in numbers. Like when coaches say there's strength in numbers, like I really believe them now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Just with my experience with the protest, in Louisville, we have a curfew at 9 p.m., right? And we were out there marching and walking till like 12. and it was peaceful, right? Nothing happening, no cops was out to get, no, nothing crazy happened like that. But it's just powerful, because we're not even technically supposed to be out there that late, but it was just so many of us. Like, there's nothing they could do, and all we're doing is peacefully walking down the streets, chanting, doing our part, protesting. So just to strengthen numbers, I think, is the third thing that I really learned.
Yeah. I think I liked what you said when you said you could even do it quietly when it comes to having those conversations, because I think over the past couple of days, we've seen people, if they didn't come out on social media and necessarily say something, we were questioning, like, are you what side are you on here? But I think that that's really important that, you can have those conversations with your family. You can have them with your friends, with people close to you. I've had conversations with my Black friends, my white friends, my Spanish friends. And I'm like, listen, like, if we can keep pushing and keep this momentum going, there's just so much that we can do. And I learned to ask myself the question too, like, how many of these incidents happen every day that don't get reported, and
Right.
George Floyd, I mean, it's so terrible what happened, but we had the footage to know that, to go and charge those officers and try to get justice. But I always think about, like, why is this happening in 2020 still, when this has been happening for decades and decades? And that's something that just kind of been just in my mind the past couple of days. But I want to read you a quote, and I think you reposted it actually, and I've seen a couple different people repost it, but I want to ask you what it means to you and what you are hopeful to see in the future. So I'm going to read it to you. What if 2020 isn't canceled? What if 2020 is the year we've been waiting for? A year so uncomfortable, so painful, so scary, so raw, that it finally forces us to grow. A year that screams so loud, finally awakening us from our ignorant slumber. A year we finally accept the need for change, declare change, work for change, and become the change. A year we finally band together instead of pushing each other further apart. 2020 isn't canceled, but rather the most important year of them all. Leslie Dwight. So what does that quote mean to you?
Man, I think just first of all, 2020 has been ridiculous. It's been crazy. Yeah. Ever since the whole pandemic came out, it's kind of been like, whoa, I don't want to. Let's just go to 2021.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Flip the page.
We're trying to be in this year no more. Mm-hmm. But I think it's powerful. I think what you read is very powerful, because let's not cancel, a year where everybody's waking up, where we're being woke, right? I think with change, it comes with a lot of uncomfortable, a lot of raw conversations, like you said, where everybody, all types of people can, feel what we're feeling. We've been feeling for so long, Black people of color. And just coming together, like, because can join in, because like I said, strengthen numbers. So I think that's just an important thing. Like, let's just use this time. This is something big. Let's run with it. Let's really push for change. Let's not cancel this year. Let's make this year a part of great history. We're already part of history. Let's make it like crazy history, a change. Let's be in the history books, Yeah. And I think that's important, just to realize what we're in, what world we live in right now.
Yeah.
And just act on it. And whatever way you can. It could be simple. It could be going out and protesting. It could be checking up on your people of color, your friends, your Black friends. Anything. Just learning, talking, and not just staying silent or saying that this year is canceled, Right. Just being in the moment, pushing for that.
I think that we'll never look at the world the same way we did when we get back to normalcy, the same way we did back in March and the months before that. I know through all of this, if it hasn't taught you different ways to grow and different ways to just be there for people, because I mean, that's what we need most. We need love. I mean, we see all of this craziness happening and all that, but I think the most you can do is be there for people in the moment. So my last question for you is, what are you hopeful for in the future?
Like you said, you hit it on the head, just love. Like, love, if you could teach hate, you could teach love. I believe that. Like, we just learn to love each other and to just be there for each other, whatever the case, however we look, our ethnicity, race, gender, sexuality, just equality on all platforms, all forms. Just that big change of just love. That's what we need. That's what I hope for, and just all come together and hopefully just end this just injustice and just the plight that people of color have been going through for so many years, just officially end it.
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to say thank you so much to you for going out. And I mean, I know that's in so many ways it can be dangerous, but I want to say I'm so proud of you and I'm so thankful to have you as a teammate. And I know just anybody out there that's done that, I'm just so grateful to you guys. And we've come a long way, but we still have a lot of work to do. So thank you so much, JJ.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you too, girl.